Hey y'all, today I thought I would go through some of my old unfinished software projects, of which I have many. These are some of the more visual ones, make it a little more interesting. This one right here called World Maker, and it generates a random texture using a shader to make this world, and you can look around it like that. It's not very interesting. Ideally, there are ways to control it. If you click that, it randomly generates a new one. Saw the delay involved in the generation process. If I were awesomer, I'd probably go a lot faster, maybe even real time. Anyway, works on some computers and not on others, I found. Here's another game I was going to make once. It's like Carmen Sandiego, but simpler. Although, ideally it was going to have a lot more places. I only got a few ever done. This idea is we start somewhere, and you can pay for clues. Next place is what used to be called officially the Federal District, or Distrito Federal, DF. I know where we're going to next. You can pay for another clue though. I'm currently in Tokyo, trying to find where to go next. Most populous city proper in North America. If there's another clue yet, we're going to Mexico City. Click depart, we have to guess about where it is. I think Mexico City is here-ish. And for each clue I pick, I lose a score, and I get more score depending on how well I choose. So here we are at Mexico City, La Ciudad de Mexico. Next on our list, let's reload this page. Worldaroo, I called it. I was imagining making some Spore Creature Creator-like stuff. This is actually using a 3D physics engine where I've turned off the gravity. But the idea is that if I could control a skeleton, the next thing I could do is add body parts to it and so on, and get all fancy. But this is as far as it ever got. You can imagine, though, how this could get more interesting with time. And here's a game jam game I made once. I didn't get very far on this either. Render's using a 3D engine again still. 3GS if you're familiar with that. And the idea is you just go catch fish. I don't even keep track of score. It moves slowly if you're not facing the direction you're going, and if you're facing the direction you're going, then it goes faster. Here's another game jam game that I made. So the GMTK Game Jam 2019. My daughter drew the art for me. And the idea is that you only have one thing, like only one. In this case, I had only one button. And each of those blue things, if you hold down the button, it turns in a circle. And the red thing, it goes in a straight line. The red thing gets the flag. It goes to the next level and get one more blue thing. But whatever button you press, it always goes clockwise circles on the blues. So ideally, I hit it in a way. Ah, there we go. And so on and so forth. You imagine how chaos ensues the more things you have here. The red always goes straight, following whatever previous trajectory it had. And then long ago, I made this thing called Blockly Mario using this Blockly language, which is inspired by Scratch, and this HTML5 Mario that I also got. So those are two different sources, and I wrote some code to connect them together so that you can do visual scripting of Super Mario. So if we start a game here and we go to level 1, we can either control it ourselves, or we can hand it over to AI control, which is designed to keep track of whether it's time to jump, and if so, press the jump button. A little bit complicated because even if you hold down the jump button, then it doesn't keep jumping. So you gotta let go of it. And we can also do things like go right. And the UI is messed up a bit because I have dark mode on and the UI doesn't cope well with dark mode. But I can update and turn AI control on it, and now it runs and jumps. And we'll see how far he gets before he dies. Imagine you get a lot fancier, but I find it's not super easy to code too much fancy logic using this block scripting language. The idea here was to use this for educational purposes. Wow, I was getting a lot farther than I think. And there he goes. So We can imagine how Mario is in a two-dimensional world. And then our final demo is imagine going deeper so you're only looking inside the 2D world instead of looking at it from outside. This is inspired by Flatland and uses a 2D physics engine called Matter.js. Only we're going to be, sorry for the brightness there, inside the world. So you can see there's actually squares. Those are not elongated. They're really just squares. And we're inside a plane. I just stretch it out because otherwise you can't really see inside a plane unless it's broad enough for like our view that expects two-dimensional projections onto our retinas. Anyway, the idea is you should be able to go around this world, and I figure you could make a whole game out of it if you wanted to. Zooming out here. Really, this dimension doesn't exist. We're just inside a plane. Anyway, you can imagine how much fancier that could get. And you have to decide which way is up and which way is down. And I render it just by being actually one line thin and just stretched across the screen. Anyway, so there's some examples of some things I've made before and never finished. I hope it's been fun. I hope to talk about all kinds of random things on this channel. If you like the video, be sure to subscribe. Bye, y'all.